Hi everybody, welcome to Tuesday's lesson. So we're going to start with our starters as usual. So first question, which of these numbers are multiples of 3? If you know how to answer that, just pause the video and do it. If you're not sure what you're doing, then remember multiples of 3 means it's in a 3 times table. So I'm going to remind you that you've got a quick way of checking if a number is in the 3 times table. So for example, 52. All you need to do is add the digits together. So 5 add 2 is 7. And 7 is not in the 3 times table. It's not a multiple of 3. Therefore, 52 is not a multiple of 3. Okay, let's look at 144. If we work out 1 add 4 add 4, that gives us 9. 9 is in the 3 times table. So 9 is a multiple of 3. Therefore, 144 is also a multiple of 3. So you do that for the numbers that we've got here. And we'll go through the answers just now. So, quickly, 4 add 5 is 9, which is a multiple of 3, so 45 is. 6 add 7 is 13, not a multiple of 3. 2 add 4 is 6, which is a multiple of 3. 1 add 2 add 3 is also 6, which is a multiple of 3. 4 add 4 is 8, not a multiple of 3. 7 add 8 is 15, which is a multiple of 3. 9 add 1 is 10, not a multiple of 3. And 1 add 9 add 2 is 12, which is a multiple of 3. Okay, so the highlighted numbers there are the ones that are multiples of 3. Okay, next question. 435 divided by 5. If you know what you're doing, pause the video and get on with it. Okay, so we're going to do a bus stop sum here, or a calculation. It's not really a sum because we're not adding. So 435 divided by 5. We're going to be doing more dividing later on, so we just need to check that we're okay. So 5 into 4 goes no times, carry the 4. 5 into 43 goes 8 times, with 3 left over. 5 into 35 goes 7. So the answer to our question here is 87. Okay, and then the last question, we're putting these fractions into equivalent pairs. If you know what you're doing there, go ahead. If you need a bit of a hint, what we're starting off with is 2/3, 3/4, and 5/8. And each one of those is equivalent to either 9/12, 20 over 32, or 18 over 27. So we're needing to match up the fractions on the left-hand side with the fractions on the right-hand side. Okay, so to do that, we need to, let's take 2/3 first of all and see which of these 3 fractions is 2/3. So it means that 2 has been multiplied by something and 3 has been multiplied by the same thing to give us one of these 3 fractions here. So if we have a look at the first one here, 9/12. Well, 3 is multiplied by 4 to give us 12, but 2 hasn't been multiplied by 4 to give us 9, has it? So it's not that one. So let's look at this one. So 2 has been multiplied by 10 to give us 20, but 3 hasn't been multiplied by 10 because that would be 30 on the bottom if it was. So it's not that one either. So look at the bottom one here. So 2 is multiplied by 9 to give us 18. And 3 is also multiplied by 9 to give us 27. So because the top and bottom of this fraction have both been multiplied by 9, then 18 over 27 is an equivalent fraction to 2/3. Okay, so we can match up those two. Right, let's look at 3/4 next. And so look at the fractions we've got left. So 3 times 3 is 9, and 4 times 3 is 12. So that's the right one, because the top here, the numerator and the denominator, have both been multiplied by 3 to give us the numbers in this fraction. So we can also say that 3/4 is equivalent to 9/12. And then the last one, well, we're expecting that we know where this line's going to go, aren't we? We think it's going to go here, but we'll just double check that. So if we're looking at the top, the numerator, 5 has been multiplied by 4, hasn't it, to give 20? If 8 times 4 is 32, then this fraction is equivalent to this one. And 8 times 4 is 32. So we can safely draw that line in there as well. Okay, so we've got our 3 pairs of equivalent fractions there. Okay, so on to today's work then. We're going to be multiplying and dividing amounts of money. Okay, so when we're multiplying, we just need to be careful about our carrying, and we need to be careful about where the decimal points go. That's really all we need to think about. Okay, so let's start with £24.30 times 5. So start from the right hand side. 0 times 5 is 0. 3 5s are 15. I want you to ignore the decimal point at the moment. We'll fill that in at the end. 4 times 5 is 20. Add the 1 is 21. And 2 5s are 10. Add the 2 makes 12. Okay. So what we now need to do is decide where the decimal point goes. So here we've got 2 decimal places in the question. That means we've got 2 digits after the decimal point in the question. So there needs to be 2 digits after the decimal point in our answer, and we need to be careful and put our pound sign on as well. Next one, £43.22 times 8. That one is exactly the same as the one before in terms of what we're going to do. So 2 8s are 16. 2 8s are still 16. Add the 1 makes 17. We're ignoring the decimal point just now. 3 8s are 24, add the 1 makes 25, and 4 8s are 32, add the 2 makes 34. So we need to have a look at our question now. We can see we've got 2 decimal places in the question, so we need 2 decimal places in the answer. So that means that the decimal point has to go there, and we need our pound sign to keep it looking like money. Okay, next one. £9.03 times 3. I think some of you can probably do this one in your head. £9 times 3 is £27, and 3 pence times 3 is 9p. Okay, so we've got £27 and 9 pence for that one. You could still do that the same way as we've done the other ones. Okay, and then the last one, £302.15 times 9. Then we've got 5 9s are 45. 1 9 is 9. Add the 4 makes 13. 2 9s are 18. Add the 1, 19. 0 9s are 0. Add the 1. And then 3 9s are 27. So we've got a much bigger number this time, of course. We've got 2 decimal places in the in the question. So we need 2 decimal places in the answer. So the decimal point needs to go there, and we need not to forget our pound sign. Okay, I'm just going to do one more with you. We're going to do £45.15, and we're going to multiply it by 0.8 this time, because I want to show you, I don't want you to always assume that because you're multiplying money by an amount that you end up with automatically 2 decimal places in your answer like this. Okay, so let's work this one out. So 5 8s are 40. 1 8 is 8. Add the 4 makes 12. 5 8s are 40. Add the 1, it's 41. And 4 8s are 32. Add the 4 makes 36. Now, if we have a look in our question this time, we've got 1, 2, 3 decimal places. This one, and this one. So our answer needs to have 3 decimal places as well. So the decimal point is going here this time. But when we have a look at that number, 36.120, if we write that with a pound sign in front, that doesn't really look like money, does it? Because we only need 2 decimal places for money. So £36.12. We don't need that 0 on the end. Okay, tomorrow we're going to be looking at estimating and rounding with money, and we'll be doing a little bit more about rounding our answers so that they look like money and have 2 decimal places. Okay, right, so we're going to go on to dividing next. So we're going to work out these divisions like we did earlier on, okay, in the starter question. So £45.20 divided by 5. Now, remember, when you're dividing, the points stay in line with each other, and dividing is the only kind of calculation that we tell you to start from the left-hand side. So we do 5 into 4, there's none of them, carry the 4. 5 into 45 goes 9 times exactly. 5 into 2 doesn't go, so we've got another 0, carry the 2. And 5 into 20 goes 4 times. So we wouldn't bother with that 0 in the front there when we're writing our answer. So we just write £9.04. Okay, the next one, £81.78 divided by 6. I've probably done that a bit high up. So 6 into 8 goes 1, with a remainder 2 or 2 left over. 6 into 21 goes 3 times, remainder 3. Now remember, I'm going across the decimal point here, so I need to put it there. 6 into 37 goes 6 times, because 6 sixes are 36. So there's 1 left over, and 6 into 18 goes 3 times. So this one is £13.63. Okay, next one, £15 divided by 4. Now, I expect you've probably already spotted that 15 is not in the 4 times table. 4 doesn't go into 15 exactly. So we'll see what we do next. So 4 into 1 doesn't go. So we put in a 0 and carry in the 1. 4 into 15 goes 3 times with 3 left over, but we haven't got anywhere to put that 3. Normally we would want to carry that 3 onto the next number, but there isn't another number. But don't forget that 15 is exactly the same size as 15.0. So you can put a 0.0 there, we can put our point above, and we can carry on. So 4 into 30 goes 7 times, with 2 left over. And again, we've got nothing left to carry it on to, but 15.0 is exactly the same size as 15.00. So you can add as many zeros as you want once you've got your decimal point. So 4 into 20 goes 5 times. So the answer to that one is £3.75. Okay, next one, £782.64 divided by 8. So 8 into 7 doesn't go, carry 7. 8 into 78, if you need to quickly go up your 8 times table, you're going to find out, if we're looking at 78, 9 8s are 72. So it goes in 9 times with 6 left over. 8 into 62 goes 7 times. 7 8s are 56. So it's 7 there. Keep your points in line. And look at how much we need to carry. So we've got 56 is 7 8s. And we've got 62 there. So we've got 6 to carry. 8 into 66 goes 8 times. And there's 2 left over because 8 8s are 64. And 8 into 24 goes 3 times. So the answer here is £97.83. And then the last one is going to be like this one was over here, where we need to add decimal places, because we're doing 431 divided by 5, and we can tell by looking at 431 that it is not a multiple of 5, so 5 does not go exactly into 431. So when we do this one, I'm just going to leave that line a bit longer because we know we're going to need it. So we're dividing by 5. 5 into 4 doesn't go, so carry the 4. 5 into 43, 5 8s are 40, so it's 8 times with 3 left over. 5 into 31 goes 6 times with 1 left over. So now what we need to do is give this 1 here something to carry on to, because there's nothing there, is there? So remember, 431 is exactly the same amount as 431.0. So if we've got a 0 here, so if we've got a decimal point here, we need one here as well. 5 into 10 goes twice. Okay, so we've finished because we've got an exact answer now. We don't need to keep going. But just have a look at that. 86.2. That doesn't quite look like money, does it? So remember, if you've got any decimal places when you're talking about money, you've got to have 2. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. So we can put that 0 on the end there because 86.2 is exactly the same size as 86.20. But when we put the 2 decimal places, it looks like money. Okay, so we're going to be using that sort of idea a little bit more tomorrow when we go on to estimating and rounding when we're looking at money questions. So if you make sure you do the questions that I've put on Teams and on Facebook, then you'll be able to check them tomorrow when I put the answers out. Okay, I hope you did okay with yesterday's questions. Remember, I've put those answers up, so if you've got any problems, just give me a shout. Okay, I'll catch you tomorrow.